Welcome to SML Total Access, the official podcast of the Sim Madden League. Now, here are your hosts, ZZ the Great and Primetime 000.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I am Primetime 000, one of the hosts of the show, and with me is our brand new staple weekend host, Tiny Titan. What's going on, brother? You are no longer interim. You are now a staple of the show. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here.
So Tiny, as usual, we do 4 downs. We do the extra point. This is a quick pace show. If you like longer, drawn out shows, we've got some like heat check for you, but this show a little more quick pace. So let's go ahead. Let's get right into it. First down. Let's talk about some teams that have kind of surprised teams who might make or miss the playoffs. Have you kind of noticed some teams that might not make it?
Yeah, there was definitely a few teams that I am surprised that may not make it. One would be, of course, Woods. He's in a boat now where he needs to try to win out the rest of the year because NYT has started playing better here lately, and Woods has decided not to. So I can't figure out what he's doing and what's going on, because his first few games he was doing really well, and then all of a sudden he started losing to teams he shouldn't lose, and NYT is starting to win games that he shouldn't win. So he's on his heels, man. He better get going.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that actually. NYT has set himself up, I think, to go at least 10-6. He's 6-5 right now, but he plays Coop, he plays Two Step, he plays me, he plays KJ CPU, and then he plays Raider Fan to finish out the season. Honestly, the only game where I don't think he's a favorite is against the Colts. So that puts Woods in a very difficult situation. They split each other on the season. So I think the Ravens are actually going to win the AFC North and make the playoffs, which leaves Woods to grasp at air for a wild card spot.
Yeah, I would agree with that. See, what was it? Pauly was one that I was also. I think he's still going to win his division, but Pauly's also kind of surprising me where he's only 7-4. I noticed their division is. I guess I'll just say it. Their division is kind of ass.
Yeah.
So Pauly's lucky in that aspect, but I'm kind of surprised he's 7-4 right now. So if he was in a decent division, Pauly could be in bad shape right now.
Yeah, I feel like last season Pauly was kind of playing at a level that a lot of people thought he was a championship contender. Now, not so much. He's lost some big games. A team I'm kind of looking at is actually the Chargers. I'm looking at Death Wish. He doesn't get much hype. He does a lot of work for the league, and now he's starting to win some games. I think he might go 9-7, and that just might be just enough to make the playoffs, depending on how Woods does. So that's something to see if Death Wish can kind of have a strong finish to the year. I would like to see him make the playoffs there.
That's funny because I actually had Death Wish wrote down on my notes where he's 6-5 right now, but he's kind of in that mud in the middle. When what sucks is, of course, the AFC South is going to have two guys, of course, with two teams with only one loss. Mm-hmm. So that's one wild card spot right there. And then, of course, the AFC North, like we just talked about, you think the Browns and Ravens are both going to make it. So Death Wish might be that last wild card right there.
Yeah, the beauty of the new playoff seating, obviously 3 playoff spots, it definitely makes things a lot more interesting with those 3 wild card spots. Moving on now, second down, NFC South wide open. Obviously, Field General is back. Welcome back, Field. Who do you got kind of moving forward, not only this season, but moving forward in the NFC South as the favorite? And also the NFC is now wide open with some owner shuffling we've had.
Yeah, so I would love to see Field keep it up. And I seen he got a win last night. And, of course, that team is pretty stacked. But I feel like, he's had the break of Madden for a little while. So I'm sure, he's going to have some losses coming up, in the last part of the season because he hasn't been playing. So I would take the Panthers in the NFC South because he's been consistently good. I'm not for sure. I didn't check his whole schedule, but I know he lost to you. I don't know if he's lost another game since then. He may have. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But for the NFC as a whole, maybe this is just for me playing them, I don't know, but dude, I don't know how people beat Dump. It makes me so mad. I can't figure out what this dude does to just beat the crap out of me. I can't stop the guy's offense. So I'm going to put Faz or Dump as the top guys in the NFC. Meats maybe, but like Meats, I mean, he's called the folding chair. So I'm pretty sure he's going to stick to that this year.
Yeah. The tough thing Fields got looking at his schedule is, like you said, he's had that break. He's had that long break. I know his team's pretty solid, but he's got the Colts, the Panthers, and the Vikings all in his final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. He's got Mike FML, who's a tough out as well, and October, who's never easy to beat. So Fields got his work cut out for him. I think he can make the playoffs. Panthers might win the division just because he's in a roll right now. But that game will be huge. Week 14, Bucks versus Panthers. That could be for the division. As for the NFC now moving forward, I think we kind of had Dookie pinned as kind of the guy. He's obviously was the Super Bowl champion. Now it's wide open. I think that Washington football team is tough, but a lot of these NFC teams are similar in the sense of they're kind of offensive juggernauts. Faz does it.
Yep.
Washington does it. Dump does it. RD does it. RD's a guy that doesn't get much hype. They're all kind of the same, and doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who comes out of the NFC. Will they be able to beat Dan? Will they be able to beat me, or will they be able to beat Bomber? That's going to be the big question. Is a lot of these guys are similar in style, and is that style championship worthy?
I agree with that. RD's one I didn't write down, but he's definitely tough. I just don't think he can get by there at the end of the season, maybe in the NFC Championship or the divisional round. But he will make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. So the NFC South or NFC West will definitely be represented, not by me, but it will be represented.
Yes, I agree. So there you go. So I think we've been updating on it, and Seahawks probably not going to make the playoffs now, correct?
I don't think so. I mean, the rest of my schedule is not awful. I got RD is probably, if I remember right, RD is probably my toughest game left. I let a few go that maybe I was hoping to win. The one against the football team and the Eagles, I was kind of looking as could have been wild card games that possibly I could have won, and I didn't. So, yeah, I'm going to keep trying. We'll see. I mean, hopefully I can end up, I don't care about the draft spots because, of course, I give my first-round pick to Grams. So, maybe I'll end up, 7-9, something like that. That'd be a decent season for myself,
Especially in that tough NFC West.
It's awful, man. Everybody told me not to do it, and I did it. So, Oh well.
So
I did it myself.
Yeah, that's a tough division. Moving on now. Third down. It's already third down. Go ahead, get the chain gang ready. Call it how you see it. This might be a new staple on the show. Let's call out an SML member. Who are you taking shots at? Who are you lining up the sights and shooting in the back of the head this Saturday afternoon?
All right. So I know I kind of gave him crap earlier, but Paulie, you're good, man. Stop playing the victim. Everybody knows you're good. You're good at Madden. I know you don't sit there and study like Dan or some of these other guys, but you're good at it, man. Stop playing the victim. You can win against anyone. I think if you just keep your heart in it. I know you got football coming up and sports and everything. You're going to be all in it here soon. But man, you're a good Madden player. Just stay in it. You're in the playoffs every year. Stop playing the victim.
Yes. Paulie is a good player. Now he's got to he's in a funk right now. We got to see what he can do. My call out, it was Woods, but I feel like we banged on him enough. So I'm actually going to call out Rowan Kuh. He's talked a mighty game this cycle, and he's been kind of quiet, and now I see why. He's 5-6, in a division that the Washington team is good, but I feel like it's still an achievable division. It's not like the AFC West where it's like, okay, like, yeah, the Broncos are going to win that division every time.
Yep.
And Rowan Kuh he's won one, he's lost one. He can't get past Washington. I don't think he's ever beat them. He's beat Grams both times, but he's beat Paulie, but then he's lost to, he's lost to the Eagles 41-27. I don't know what to think of Rowan Kuh. And he needs to get hot at the right time to make the playoffs. So I'm calling him out. I'm challenging him with RD on his schedule, with Dump on his schedule. with the Eagles again with Mike on the schedule to see what he can do. Also, I want to do a little honorable mention. I'm not going to call him out because I've been ragging on him all cycle. But what's going on with Grams? Come on, Grams. Is this just the end of Grams, or
I
what?
don't think it's the end of him. I think literally he's like, I think I said it in chat yesterday or the day before. I'm not going to say he's tanking, but of course he's traded a couple of his players that are big parts of his team, and I think he's kind of just out of it this cycle. He's like, because he went ahead and put in the backup quarterback. I don't know if he's played with him every game since he took out Dak, but he's definitely just kind of riding it out till next season. I believe. I think next season he'll come back and be, at least a 9-7, 10-6 team next season.
Yeah, I know Graham's prided himself on never having a losing season. He had one last year, and now this season is just. I mean, he went 7-9. Week 17, he hit the or below 500 mark, but this season is just bad. He's 3-8. Hopefully he can get it right. This Cowboys team is still 85 overall. It's not a bad
Yeah.
team, So I don't know. He's got to get something fixed.
Yeah, for sure. I think he definitely can fix it. Like I said, I think he's just kind of riding it out this season. He kind of knows this season's a lost cause, and he's just gonna, hold out this season, see what happens. He's gonna get my first round pick, which will probably be, if I had to guess, around 8 to 10, maybe 12, depending on how I finish out the season. And he's gonna have his. So maybe he can reboot next season and really get back on track.
Yes, I agree. So moving on now. Fourth down. We talked about this a little bit, but Woods, he started off 4-0, went 2-5. He's obviously in a rut. What do you think about that? This mental aspect of the game, getting in ruts. How do you get out of ruts, and what's your thoughts on Woods?
Okay, so usually when you see somebody that goes, for example, myself, I started out 3-1 and then lost, I think, 5 in a row after that. That's normally because of the schedule you have. When I went and looked at Woods, that's not really the case. His 4-0 was against the Ravens, Patriots, KJ, and Dump, which was a sim, but he still won the game. And then his losses were against the Titans, Dan, which you expected to lose, but it was a close game. And then his win was against KJ and Two Step, and Two Step's game was close. And then he lost again to the Ravens and Jags. So those are kind of games you expect there towards the end. But the 4-0 part, I was like, all right, man, he's doing great. And then the 2-5 towards the end of the season, or towards where we're at now, you're kind of like, I don't really know what he's doing, man. So it's hard to say. Even my personal experience with Woods, I've played him and where I've beat the crap out of him, or been close games and won, and then he's beat the crap out of me and won close games. So I think Woods is kind of, off the wall. You never know what you're going to get out of him. And I think you know that from playing him several times. You don't know if he's going to, come in firing, or, if it's going to be a close defensive game. But I think maybe he can win or end up 9-7, which is going to be very iffy for the playoffs there in the AFC. As for the rut aspect, what I've did, and it doesn't always work, I've usually adjusted my playbook. If I'm really just, losing 5, 6, 7 games in a row, I change up my playbook, because it's like my offense feels like it's just getting boring and I'm doing the same plays over and over. So I just go through, make a new playbook, put in different plays that I haven't done before, something that looks good, a bunch of crossers and crap, you see on these plays. And it seems to help for a game or two. And then, me being me, I end up, looking for those same plays again. But I think that does help when you're in a rut, is to just change everything up. That way you're seeing new stuff. Maybe like Coop says, try some coach suggestions, just something different. Try something different.
So yeah, I agree with Woods. Just his team's solid. He's just in a rut. That's an interesting aspect. You change up your playbook. Do you still have a set amount of plays that you go to when you change up your playbook, or do you just change pretty much everything up?
I'll usually go through and change everything. There's, of course, like I'm sure everybody, there's a few plays you see and it's like, okay, I want that one for sure. That's got to be in there. That's one of my go-tos. But I would try to also look through and be like, all right, that's one I haven't had. Let's try that, see how it works. And so I feel like if you go through and put some new stuff in, of course, it's going to throw people off in your division that you've played 15 times. They're not going to expect stuff like that. And of course, that's going to help you in the games that you played people that you played against.
So when you do that, how do you you're just on the fly getting used to these plays as well, correct? It's something where like for me, it's hard for me to run a play that I haven't ran before unless I'm blowing a dude out. Like cuz I don't know, I might not know when that right side receiver what that right side receiver's route's supposed to be. I feel what makes me good is I know what every player on every play is supposed to do just because I've ran the same plays forever.
Yeah, for sure. I will play some play now games here and there, just to kind of get a feel for that. I can't stand doing practice. I'm not one of those guys. I can't play by myself. I don't play any games offline. I know a lot of guys do here where they just they play their single player games. I can't do it. So I'll take those playbooks and go play in a play now game or something and just kind of see how it works. I know it's not all the same in comp and sim, but it gives you the at least how they break and stuff like that on the plays, so you can kind of see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. So there you go. That's just the mentality behind Tiny Titan. How he gets out of a rut. Um, extra
By the
point.
way, I
Yeah.
I, I wouldn't take my advice, guys. Just let me know.
He's been in ruts before, so take it how you want. I think we all get in ruts. Everybody does at some point. Um, Madden is a very mental game. Sometimes it seems more mental than it is on the sticks. A lot of people think it's a stick skill game. Definitely more mental, and emotional. It's an
And
emotional
I
game.
I would definitely agree with that because there's parts like, for example, in Dump's game that I played the other night. I don't know if anybody watched. I'm sure some people did. Um, the first drive I had, I drove all the way down the field, got to the 5 yard line. I threw a pick in the end zone, and he went down, scored a touchdown. Second drive, I was driving down the field again, got to like the 30, and I fumbled. He ran it back for a touchdown. There I am down 14-0, and he gets the ball at half.
Yeah.
So me being myself, I'm halfway emotional about the game, so I start throwing more than I need to, and then all of a sudden here I am down 28-0. What are you supposed to do then?
Yeah.
Whenever 5 seconds ago I felt like I was in the game because I was able to drive down the field. It's a super uh, mental game. You got to keep your head in it and keep it going. Play your game. But I wish I could take my own advice, man, because when I get in those spots, it's really hard for me to keep my game.
Yeah, composure is just so tough. Um, Moving on to the extra point. This is kind of a little fun little topic here. Maybe a self confidence question. Maybe just I don't know. I watched King of the Hill, and it gave me this idea. Uh, you've got 2 minutes to drive downfield to win an SML game. You get a touchdown, and you win the game. You get $1 million. You can do it yourself, or you can call in an SML friend to do it for yourself. Are you putting that burden on your chest, or are you going to possibly risk your friendship because you're going to be pissed at this guy if he chokes?
All right. So for this one, I'm not trying to suck up or anything, but I would probably pick you, just watching your games and everything and playing against you. Anytime I've been tied with you at the end of a game, you always have that last drive. In your Super Bowls, you always have that last drive where it seems like you score with, and you always seem to run the timeout just right to where there's like 20 seconds left whenever you score to win the game. Um, by the way, we're putting this celebrity thing in quotes.
Yes.
You're not a celebrity. I hope
Yes.
you know that, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, I know.
And then also, I would say you or Dan.
Yes.
The reason why I would say Dan is because if he's not fat fingering and
Mm.
run committing, but anyway,
Yes. Yes.
Dan has those long drives that are frustrating. I don't know if that's for everybody, but for me, it's super frustrating whenever somebody's just getting first down, second down, third down, boom, first down again. It's so frustrating whenever those guys are getting first downs on third downs over and over and over again. And that's what Dan is really great at. He just has those long drives, and that's what I would want at the end of a game. Kind of like what I said with you, is that long drive at the end of the game to score points to win,
Hmm.
and also not leaving time on the clock for your opponent.
Yeah, I would agree. So you would actually you would rather just somebody else do it so you don't have to worry about it or just
Dude, hey, don't how many times you put in my chat? Oh shit, Tiny, don't throw a pick here, stupid, or something like. I'm always known for that, man. I'll be sitting there just driving, boom, stupid throw.
Okay, let me change up the question then. If you can win $1 million doing it yourself or $10,000 by having myself or Dan do it, what are you gonna do?
I'm taking the $10,000 every day.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah. I would obviously just put the money on myself, but maybe if I was a lower, if I couldn't put it on myself, I might. I think Dan's a good bet. I think Bomber seems to be a good bet. Uh,
Palmer would be good. Yeah.
I think I've seen Faz do it a few times. Maybe not as confident in some of those NFC guys. Just haven't proven it. But it's fun to think about. I'd be so nervous watching, and then if they didn't do it, it would just be awkward. I couldn't talk to that guy anymore. But we need a Nike sponsor to arrange this somehow.
Yeah.
So we're taking
Dump's probably another one I would. I don't know if I'd put $1 million on it because he's is killing it all game, and then all of a sudden he does something crazy against one of the higher, the elite teams is whenever he ends up doing something like that.
Yeah, Dump's problem is if it's a 2-minute drive, he'll score on the first play with an 80-yard touchdown.
He leaves 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, that was Total Access with me and Tiny Titan, our new weekend co-host. Hopefully by next weekend we're gonna have a graphic redesign, an intro redesign. It'll be officially official. I'm Prime Time. That's Tiny. We're signing out, guys. Thanks for listening. Apply today. SimMaddenLeague.com. We are the best Madden League in the Madden community. Everyone, thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.